Behold the birth of a solar system.
Not with a divine blueprint, not with a grand announcement, not with any hand capable of holding a pen. The most violent, beautiful, and improbable story ever told began in absolute silence. 4.5 billion years of fire, ice, extinction, and resurrection, compressed into a single unbroken thread that leads without interruption directly to you. If you want to understand who you are, you need to understand where you came from. Not centuries, not millennia, billions of years, to a moment before oceans, before air, before the first cell dared to exist. This is the history no textbook fully tells. This is the story Earth has been writing since before any living thing could read it. 4.5 billion years ago, there was no Earth. There was a young sun, circled by a disk of gas, dust, and rock, pieces colliding, merging, growing. The violence was incomprehensible. The proto-Earth formed through accretion, a billion-year collision of rock and metal, each impact releasing heat so intense that the entire surface became an ocean of molten magma. No solid ground, no sky, only fire. Then came the impact that changed everything. A planet the size of Mars, scientists call it Theia, struck the young Earth with a force that no weapon of war, no volcanic eruption in human memory could begin to approximate. The collision tore off part of Earth's surface. That debris, caught in orbit, slowly coalesced into what we now call the Moon. Without that impact, there is no Moon. Without the Moon, there are no stable tides. Without stable tides, the conditions for life as we know it may never have emerged. Catastrophe was the beginning. This is the first lesson that 4.5 billion years of history teaches us. The things that look like endings are almost always beginnings in disguise. Every mass extinction that ever occurred on this planet was followed by an explosion of new life. Every catastrophe cleared the way for something that could not have existed before. By 4.0 billion years ago, the surface cooled. Water vapor, released by volcanic vents and delivered by icy comets falling from the outer solar system, began to condense. The first oceans formed, dark, deep, scalding, and waiting. And now begins perhaps the greatest mystery in the entire history of this planet. At some point, in those warm, dark, chemically rich oceans, something happened that science has not yet fully explained. Life began. Not dramatic life, not visible life. A single cell, a microscopic arrangement of molecules that could do one thing the rest of the universe could not: replicate itself. 3.8 billion years ago, give or take. These were prokaryotes, cells without a nucleus, invisible to any human eye, surviving in darkness, feeding on chemical energy rising from the planet's own core. For more than a billion years, this was all Earth had. No predators, no competition, no color, no sound. Just the slow, patient chemistry of microscopic life, quietly multiplying in the dark. Think about what that means. Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Complex life has existed for roughly 600 million years. That means for nearly 80% of Earth's entire existence, there was nothing you could see with the naked eye. The patience of nature is not measured in centuries. It is measured in eons. And here is the part that should stop you cold. That first cell, that single microscopic accident of chemistry in the dark, is your ancestor. Not metaphorically, biologically. The DNA, In every cell of your body carries the molecular memory of that first replication event. You are not separate from that story. You are its most recent chapter. Comment the word origin below if that connection, the direct biological line from the first cell to you, is something you had never fully considered before. Then, approximately 2.4 billion years ago, something occurred that nearly ended all life before it could truly begin. A new type of bacteria, cyanobacteria, evolved the ability to photosynthesize, to convert sunlight and water into energy, releasing oxygen as a byproduct. This seems like a miracle, and in many ways it was. But to the organisms that existed at the time, it was apocalypse. Oxygen was poison to early life forms. As cyanobacteria multiplied across the oceans, oxygen in the atmosphere spiked to levels that killed the vast majority of living things on Earth. Scientists call it the Great Oxygenation Event. It was, in effect, the first mass extinction in history, caused not by an asteroid, not by a volcano, but by life itself. And yet, from that catastrophe, something extraordinary emerged. The survivors adapted to use oxygen, and with oxygen came a new form of energy, more powerful, more efficient than anything before. The poison became the fuel. Consider what this means for every catastrophe you have ever faced. The thing that seems like it is ending everything is sometimes the very thing creating the conditions for what comes next. Nature has run this experiment billions of times. The answer is always the same. Life finds a way. Not easily, not quickly, not without enormous cost, but it finds a way. For nearly 3 billion years, life remained microscopic, quiet, invisible. Then, in a geological instant, roughly 540 million years ago, everything changed. In what scientists call the Cambrian Explosion, the oceans suddenly filled with life of extraordinary diversity. Eyes appeared for the first time in the history of life. Hard shells, legs, mouths designed to hunt, the first predators and prey, the first arms race on this planet. Within a few million years, a blink in geological time, nearly every major animal body plan that exists today had its origin. The seas became vivid, loud, dangerous. What drove this explosion? The oxygen accumulated over billions of years had finally reached concentrations sufficient to power complex, mobile, hungry organisms. Evolution had been loading its weapon for 3 billion years. The Cambrian Explosion was the trigger being pulled. If you are finding this kind of deep scientific storytelling valuable, leave a like on this video. It is the simplest way to help this story reach the people who need to hear it. Life moved from ocean to land. Forests rose. Insects grew to the size of eagles. And the world seemed, for a moment, to be settling into abundance. Then came the most catastrophic event in the entire history of life on Earth, the Permian extinction. Volcanic eruptions in what is now Siberia lasted for hundreds of thousands of years, releasing carbon dioxide and methane at levels that acidified the oceans and choked the atmosphere. 96% of all marine species, gone. 70% of all land species, gone. The seas fell silent. It took 10 million years for life to begin rebuilding. 10 million years. To put that in human terms, 10 million years ago our ancestors were small primates living in African forests. The time it took life to recover from the Permian extinction is longer than the entire evolutionary history of our lineage. And in that recovery, a new group of creatures rose, the dinosaurs. For 165 million years, they dominated every ecosystem on Earth, the largest animals that ever walked on solid ground, the most successful land vertebrates in the history of this planet. 165 million years. Our entire species has existed for 300,000 years. We have had writing for 5,000. The dinosaurs had 165 million. And then, 66 million years ago, a rock 6 miles wide traveling at 45,000 miles per hour struck what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The force was equivalent to 1 billion nuclear weapons detonating simultaneously. The sky burned. Then it went dark. For years. 75% of all species on Earth, gone. The age of giants ended not with a slow decline, not with a quiet surrender, but in an afternoon. But something survived. Small, warm-blooded, mostly nocturnal creatures, mammals, living in the shadows of the dinosaurs. For over 100 million years, patient, invisible, waiting. What does it mean that the creatures who inherited the Earth were not the strongest, not the largest, not the most dominant? The survivors were the small ones, the ones who had learned to live in the dark, the ones who had spent 100 million years in the margins of a world that belonged to something else. Survival, in the deepest sense, has never been about being the most powerful thing in the room. It has always been about outlasting the thing that is. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded of that. With the dinosaurs gone, the world was empty, and empty worlds are filled quickly. Over the next 60 million years, mammals diversified into every ecological niche the dinosaurs had vacated. Whales returned to the sea, horses emerged on the open plains, the first primates climbed into the trees, and somewhere in Africa, approximately 6 million years ago, a line of apes began to change. They walked, upright, their hands freed, their brains generation by generation growing. 300,000 years ago, a species appeared, one that would, in the blink of a geological eye, transform this planet more than any asteroid, any eruption, any mass extinction ever had. Homo sapiens. Us. But here is what is easy to forget. For the first 200,000 years of our existence, we were invisible. We left no monuments. We built no cities. We wrote nothing down. We were simply another mammal, living in small bands, following the seasons, leaving almost no trace. The planet did not notice us. And then, approximately 12,000 years ago, something changed. Slowly, quietly. The last ice age ended, and humans, for the first time, began to plant seeds deliberately, to store grain, to build permanent settlements. Agriculture, the most consequential invention in the history of our species. From agriculture came surplus. From surplus came specialization. From specialization came cities. 5,000 years ago, on the banks of the Tigris and Euphrates, in what is now Iraq, the world's first cities rose from the mud. Uruk, Ur, Lagash. Writing appeared. Laws were carved into stone. Kings claimed power in the name of gods. And then Egypt, and then Persia, and then Greece, and then Rome. Each civilization building upon the foundations of the last. Each one believing in its moment of greatness that it would last forever. None did. And yet each one left something behind. Something that the next civilization picked up and carried forward. A technique, a text, an idea, a measurement. The inheritance of human civilization is not the monuments. The monuments fall. The inheritance is the invisible thread of knowledge that passes from one generation to the next. From the Sumerian scribe who invented writing to the Egyptian engineer, who refined it to the Greek philosopher, who systematized knowledge to the Islamic scholar who preserved and extended it to the Renaissance thinker who rediscovered it, and eventually, to every person alive today who can read these words. That chain has never broken, not through the fall of Rome, not through the Black Death, not through 2 world wars. The transmission of human knowledge has continued without interruption for 5,000 years. You are the beneficiary of every link in that chain. Every teacher who taught a student who taught another student, who eventually, through 1,000 intermediaries, taught something to someone who taught something to you. The Roman Empire rose and fell. The Islamic Golden Age illuminated mathematics, medicine, and astronomy. The Renaissance rediscovered the ancient world. The Industrial Revolution changed the chemistry of a planet's atmosphere. The last 200 years of human civilization, the steel, the electricity, the nuclear weapon, the satellite, the internet, represent less than 0.005% of Earth's total history. We have been a technological species for less time than it takes light from a distant star to cross our own galaxy. And yet, in that fraction of a moment, we have drilled into the Earth's crust. We have altered its atmosphere. We have sent our machines beyond the edge of the solar system. We have decoded the genome of every living thing. We have looked back in time through telescopes and seen the universe as it was 13 billion years ago. We have, in 200 years, learned more about the nature of reality than in the previous 200,000 years of our existence. No species in 4.5 billion years of life on this planet has ever done what we have done. That is not a comfort. It is a responsibility. Because the same intelligence that decoded the genome also split the atom. The same ingenuity that built the internet also built the industrial machinery that is warming the planet. We are simultaneously the most creative and the most destructive species this planet has ever produced. The question that 4.5 billion years of history leaves us with is not how we got here. The question is what we do now that we are. 4.5 billion years of fire, ice, extinction, and resurrection. All of it. Every impact, every billion-year ice age, every improbable mutation, every civilization that rose and fell, led to a single moment. This one. You. Here. Now. The heir of every creature that survived long enough to pass something forward. The descendant of the first cell that replicated itself in the dark. The beneficiary of every catastrophe that ended one world and created the conditions for the next. Consider this. If you compressed the entire history of Earth into a single year, 365 days, humans would appear on December 31st at 11:48 in the evening. All of recorded human civilization. Every empire, every pharaoh, every war, every invention, every discovery happened in the last 12 seconds before midnight. And those 12 seconds changed everything. The cyanobacteria that poisoned the world and saved it. The asteroid that ended the dinosaurs and freed the mammals. The ice age that shaped the first humans. The grain that built the first city. None of them knew what they were doing. None of them could have known. But every single one of them was necessary. Every catastrophe, every extinction, every impossible survivor, every child born into a world that seemed to offer no future, every civilization that fell and left its knowledge in the ground for the next one to find. All of it necessary, none of it guaranteed, and all of it leading here, to a species capable of telling its own origin story, of looking back across 4.5 billion years and understanding, with something approaching clarity, how it got here. That is not a small thing. In the entire history of this planet, in 4.5 billion years of oceans and forests and ice ages and extinctions, we are the only thing that has ever been able to do that. To look back, to understand, to feel the weight of the time that produced us. That is the answer to what we are. Not the smartest animal, not the most successful predator, not the apex of evolution, but the first thing in 4.5 billion years of Earth's history that could look at all of it and say, I understand, I am grateful, I am responsible. The answer to what we are is always in history. Share this with someone who needs to see the full picture. Subscribe to Secrets of the Ancient World.